guys, my name is George from George Photography, and then today I'm going to share with you the one way I've managed to find that easily replaces your background. This can be with people, can be with pets, or even product photography. I'm specifically using this technique for product photography. And do bear in mind that when you do product photography, it will be beneficial for you to look into buying some sort of a light tent or a light box where you can place your products in, similar to this one here, and then take the photograph with your flash or even sometimes without the flash. The whole idea is that it kind of gives you a white background already, but you will see this is far from being absolute white, and I want to achieve an absolute white background behind these products over here. And I'm going to share with you that today, the way I like doing it, and I believe that this will work for you just as well. I'm going to try to take it slow and easy for you to be able to follow, but of course I'll be commenting and telling you the steps I'm doing. So first of all, we're going to want to open the Photoshop Creative Clouds 2018 I'm using. This would work with CS654 as well. And the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to want to create a background, like a landscape 8x10, 8x4 background that's absolute white, which is going to be used as our background. So when we start erasing content, it will basically give us the white color that we want around the product. So for that, we're going to have to go to create new, or you can also go to file and choose new layer. So we're going to go create new, and on here you will want to go to photographs perhaps, unless you've got your own width and height in pixels or even centimeters in your mind. But I'm going to go to photos, and I can't see the landscape size over here, but you can go to view all presets and it will give you a lot more options over here, as you can see. So I'm going to choose this one here, landscape 8x10, and I'm going to create it. But before that, you have to make sure that your background here is set on white, or if you do want to custom color it, then you can choose to make sure that this is, as you can see here, not white, that you got the white. So just simply clicking over here in this corner, picking up the whitest. Don't choose one in that corner, you have to go all the way out to the white color over there. But honestly, safest just to go here and choose white as well. I'm just going to stick with that now. And then create it. So you got yourself a nice background. Now, in order to see absolute white, I like to change this background here as well to absolute white, and that's possible in presets or in preferences. So I'm going to go to the menu, Photoshop Creative Cloud here, and then go down to preferences, and here I'm going to go over to interface. So once you clicked on that, you can set up your interface, like the color theme, for example, as you can see. But I'm not worried about this. I'm actually worried about this area over here. So I'm going to go to standard screen mode, and I'm going to go to custom, and I'm going to choose a absolute white color from here, right? Mine already did it because obviously I had it used before, but normally just go to select custom color and choose that, and then click OK, and you got absolute white. So when you insert a photograph, you will see it far away from being white because of this white background. We'll just have a look now. So I'm going to save this layer that I've created first of all, so I can have it for the future as well. So click Save As. I'm going to put it on the desktop. Over here, I'm just going to rename it as absolute white. And then I'm going to click Save. And large is the scale that you want to choose. Now, if I go back to my main screen over here, you see this is the saved absolute white photograph that I'm going to use as a background compared to these pictures. And you will see right away that it's just going to be totally not white, these ones. They seem like white, but they're more gray than anything. So back to Photoshop. And what we're going to do is we're going to open these pictures. So I'm just going to highlight multiple one of them. I just don't want to keep opening them. So pressing the Command key or Control on Windows, I'm able to click on multiple objects, photographs in this case. I'm going to highlight this, this, and that. And then I'm going to go right click, open with, and I'm going to go Photoshop Creative Cloud. So they're going to open nicely for me here on the screen. And you see the background allows me to see the box, which is the A4. So this is the actual image over here, everyone, and the area behind is just the interface. Now, one thing what I'm going to also do here is simply be able and select these photographs. But let me just tell you how we go about that. First of all, we want to place this white background, which is A4, into this photograph, into this box over here. So in order to do that, I would have to grab with the move tool. So this is the move tool over here. I click, drag all the way up to the title, and do not release here. You have to hold the mouse button down and drag it down here and place it onto this photograph. And this actually allows me, as you can see here with the pink line, to place it exactly on my 8x4 picture. So there you go. Press enter to accept it. And now we got layer 1, which is the absolute white, and we got the background over here, see, just behind here. So what I want to achieve is to place this background behind the photograph. So when I start erasing, it will show only white and nothing else. So for that, I need to turn this into a background. So I'm going to click on this little lock, unlocks it. So that's layer 1, layer 0, and that's layer 1. So I'm going to click on this and drag it all the way down here behind this layer. So now basically the white background is sitting behind my layer. And we're going to go to the rectangular marquee tool, which is this one here. So click on this particular one, rectangular marquee tool. And you have to also make sure that the correct layer is selected. I don't want to select the layer 1 because it doesn't contain any information. Literally, it's just white, as you can see here. I want to select these images over here. So I need to make sure that this is selected over here. So select it. And once it's selected, then you're going to be able, sorry, I opened that by mistake, you don't need to. I'm going to click on it, make sure it's selected, and then I'm going to go to the rectangular marquee tool, and then I'm going to click over here, which is the select and mask option. But again, make sure that this is highlighted. So I click on that, and what will happen, it will show me the mask that's basically on top of this particular photograph or underneath. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull the transparency down to like maybe 50%. So it's just showing me the two next to each other, maybe 50%. And now with regarding this selection unit over here, which by default is selected, I'm going to go ahead and just start selecting. And this is like a quick selection tool eventually that allows you to select the photograph entirely here, different objects. See, I'm just pulling away, and I'm just selecting carefully. You have to be careful that you're not touching this area because you select this as well, just like I did here. So if you did that, you can also just click over here on deselect and go over it and deselect it, and it will get deselected, just like this. But I'm going to go back to the shortcut pad, by the way, from these two is to press down the Alt key while you're selecting. If you press down the Alt key, you're also able to deselect. And bigger the circle, bigger the selections. Smaller the circle, smaller the selections. So I'm just going to keep it a big one, and then here I'm just able to select pretty much everything quite quickly. So I have to make sure you don't touch the white area. And here we go. Now, in order to just quickly see what's happening, I'm going to pull the transparency up again and see how much. So see, I noticed that on the bottom here, that's not selected, that's not, which is fine. I can just go over there, make it a small circle, and just simply highlight it like this, and it will stay like that. So just like that. You have to take your time with this slowly. I'm not happy about that though. I'm going to fix it in a minute. Don't forget you can always undo things when you're not happy with something. See here it's missing a little part, so I'm going to just fix it like that. Select it. That's fine. Now there's another tool here available, and that's pretty much the soft selection tool. I would have to select it from the left top hand corner, this one here, that one. And if you click on it, you can do things like this. I'm just zoom in for you and make it a bigger circle, and just will do things like that. And that's actually showing over there, which shouldn't be. So I'm just going to quickly grab this one and erase it. These are remnants I've left here since I've shown you where not to click. So I'm going to go back to this button over here, and then just chug away over here on this area. We'll just soften it up a little bit. It won't be such a harsh finish. Just like that. And I can also press the Alt key and just add features or remove features from it, like this one here. I can just remove that. Yeah, make it a smaller circle. Let's remove. We are going to use the dodge tool in the end as well to just simply add to the fill. So just like this, and scroll down and just play around with this a little bit. There you go. gives a bit of a feel next to it when it's not nicely aligned. And a little bit more. There you go. On the sides here. And roughly should be okay. I'm going to take care of that in a minute, although I can attempt doing it now as well with basically the selection tool. There you go. You can just remove it like that slowly. But I do like to use sometimes my dodge tool as well, which I will show you in a minute what it will do on the next photograph. So you're going to click. So this is what we achieved currently. See, this was the background over here. Let me just zoom out for you. And then this is what's going to end up once I put the transparency back up on it again. So the gray was turned into absolute white. And I'm going to click OK. And these are the layers over here. So this is how it looked like before, and now it's without it. So you can just, like this, have a look at what you don't like or what you like in this particular photograph here. What we're going to do is I'm going to simply delete this layer, so grab it into the trash bin over here, and then you want to right click over here and just simply flatten the image, and you're ready to save it. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to be just going to rename it, edit it for example, and the same place where the other photograph was placed, just 2 megabytes. Now let's have a look at the next one. We're going to do it 2 more times so you can watch it carefully. So I'm going to go to absolute white, grab the move tool, and with the move tool drag this photograph up and down, release it over there. I'm going to just make it fully covering up the picture from behind and click enter, and now I'm going to turn this into a layer. So click on the lock, that's a layer, click on this, drag it underneath, and we're ready to grab the rectangular tool. However, you have to make sure that you are on layer 0. Remember this layer with the item on it, right? Very important. And click select and mask. I'm going to pull down the transparency so we can have a look at the photograph. You can work it like this, up to you. I think around 50% should be okay. And let's go ahead, zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to select that these items should be included in my photograph, but the rest will be still covered up. So just like this, see, like slowly, nicely comes to life. And a little bit. You don't have to drag the mouse, you can just have to click on it like this, it will still work. Maybe just a little bit there. Just nicely. That, and then over here as well. Let's have a look what we've achieved so far. Yep, that seems like alright. See, just like that. None of the areas are missing. If you want to make sure that your brushes, because some of the brushes over here, if you look carefully, will disappear as soon as I pull the transparency on. See those brushes? You can fix that with this tool over here. So just simply go over the corners. So it just adds back some of those brushes. And if you see any uneven parts, then you can also use this. See over here, this area, just like it's like a ragged area. You just use this same tool to make it more smooth, just like that. So I do like using this tool quite often, especially when I can see areas that are not so nice, like this one here. See how quickly fix the area as well. And then once again, let's have a look. It's gray and bright. Might have to deselect this area here, so Alt key, deselect it. Yeah, smaller circle, just like that. And now you can have a look, just like that. And Command 0 to go back to the main screen. And I'm going to grab this selection tool again and just go and try to fix this gray area here. So Alt key, see, just like that, deselect it. And now this is also white. But I will have to grab the soft tool to play with the corners, especially this one here. And this one, and this one, and this one. And a little bit more over here, and there. So let's have a look what we've achieved. See, just like this. Perfect. Now, once I'm happy with that, I'm going to press OK. Once again, This is the layer I'll be working on, and this layer over here is the one that we're not too happy about. So just double check like this that you've included everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, drag it down to the trash bin, and then right click and merge visible or flatten image, and I got myself the picture. Now I'm going to go over and choose File, Save As, and I'm going to call it Edited, save it in the same place, and opt for the next photograph and maximum quality. Let's do it again. So our final image is going to be this one over here. As you can see, the background is far away from being an absolute white background. That's just due to the fact that I didn't use a very strong flash to record this particular picture, because I didn't want it to erase the edges and the sides, so I just rather do Photoshop with it. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab the absolute white background with the Move tool and drag it all the way up here to that image title, then bring it down there and drop it right in the center of the picture. And I'm just going to make sure, as you can see here, that this photograph is covering up the bottom side and just the entire picture in general. Press enter to accept it. Now the next step will be to turn this background layer into a normal layer, as the moment it's just a photograph. So click on it, becomes a layer. Then I click on layer 1, which I will drag down to become the background and the basis of this particular photograph. So my absolute white is basically sitting right here just behind this photograph. And selecting the correct layer, I'm going to go ahead and grab the mask tool, and then I'm going to be able to click on select and mask, and I can't see anything because it's showing me the absolute white. But if I pull down the transparency to 50%, I'm going to be able to perhaps reveal some of these images that I want to save. So just carefully, without touching the outside areas, go ahead and select these parts that you want to save. I think I can already see a little bit of a mistake there. But if you want to review it anytime, what you're doing, just click on the transparency and drag it up to the right. And you see that here, for example, I've missed out this part. So I'm just going to click on it. And I've included an area in the middle, which I do not need. So I'm going to deselect that, just make it smaller so I don't touch the two items. And just drag it down here like that on the top as well. Perfect. This is not included, so I have to include it here. Very good. And just to soften up the edges, if you see any rough edges, just go to this soften up tool, make a smaller circle, and just simply click and just drag it down here like that. Softens up a little bit the edges. There you go. Perfect. And just a little bit on the bottom here. Soften up. Yeah, I think I'm going to be happy with this. Yeah, I like the shade on the bottom here, so I'm not even going to touch that. This area here, let's see what happens if I do that. Maybe here on this side. Yeah, I'm quite happy how this came out to be. Yeah, I spotted there that it's not really selected, so I'm just going to go back and make sure that it's selected. So, you know, you just have to go and pull the transparency up to the right and down to the left and just see if the picture is right. And I'm happy with this now. We're going to click OK. And this is what we've achieved from this photograph. This was the old picture, this is new picture. Old one, new one. Old one, new one. All I need to do is now to click with the right mouse button here, or go to the menu called Layer, and there I would have Flatten Image, which will basically just flatten down my layers and give me one final JPEG. Now I can go ahead and click on File and save this photograph, Save As, and I'm just going to click on to whiten, just rename it so it doesn't save on top of the original one. Click Save, maximum quality, absolutely, click OK. And that was all about this particular tutorial on how to create or gain an absolute white background. Hopefully it will work for you as well, just as it does for me with my product photography. And I'm using this quite often to you know, create images like this with food, with products, with any items, perfumes. Go ahead, give it a try, and like the video if you think it's useful to you, and also subscribe if you want to be notified about any other videos I'm uploading. My name is George. Thank you for watching and have a great day.